Blessings, everyone. This is Yanni, the only logologist, and I am here today. You guys know that for the longest while I have been talking about discussing other things that's not luck related and any aspect that affects the black community, and one of them is real estate. Hence the reason I have this handsome gentleman with me. Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Rishi Nagil. I'm a licensed lender in the state of New Jersey. And
Right.
Yanni, thank you so much for having me on your channel
No
today.
problem. Thank you for coming. So today we are going to talk about real estate, home ownership, buying into property, buying a house, first-time homeowners. The good thing is that this is a short video. This will last like about 15 minutes or so. This is only part one. We're just giving you all a taste of this, just a taste of it. All right. Tell us exactly what it is you do as a lender, a licensed lender.
So I help clients finance the purchase of their first, second homes, even refinance existing mortgages. So if you're looking to buy a house, the first step would be to come to me to get a pre-approval for the loan that you're seeking.
Okay.
So I would look at your documents, look at your bank statements, pay stubs, and make sure that you're qualified for the loan for the purchase of the house.
Now, you know, a lot of people have that fear factor when it comes to buying a home. They're like, oh my God, I can't afford a home. They really think it's for people that has a lot of money or people that is rich. And that is furthest from the truth. What are the components, the three components needed for someone to buy a house, just to prove that once you do the right things, anyone can be a first-time homeowner? Okay,
so we're looking at credit, right? We're also looking at your assets and your income.
And your income.
Right. So those are the three main components when you're considering purchasing a house. So I will pull your credit report, take a look at your debts, and also I need your pay stubs because that's the only way for me to determine the income that you're receiving.
Okay.
And assets, obviously, your down payment, where your down payment will be coming from to put down on the house.
And to put down on the house. Now, when you hear put down, most people may think that when it comes to putting down on a house, they need a bunch of money, but there are different types of loans. Like, if you could explain that, the conventional, the HUD loan. So, you know, when you hear HUD, when you explain what a HUD loan, that might give people a sigh of relief, like, good, I think I can afford that, versus a big down payment.
Got you. So the misconception is that you must have 20% to put down when you're buying a house. So there are programs out there such as the First Time Home Buyer Program, which is FHA, and the minimum requirement for that is 3.5% down. You also have conventional loans that have low down payments in the range of 3 to 5% down. Okay. VA loans if you're a veteran or even active military or past military, you do have VA loans where you don't have to put anything down, so 0% on. Yeah.
So if a veteran is watching this and you want to own a house, when should someone start preparing? They shouldn't wait until they want the house. I'm assuming one should prepare in advance. When should one start preparing?
So if it's a goal of the individual to buy a house, I would say once you decide, okay, you know what, you want to come from or get away from renting and you want to become a property owner. Once you decide that, I would say definitely you want to schedule an appointment with me, because we need to put everything in place, right? Just like you're setting goals. You're about to take on this journey. We need to address certain things from the get-go. So we may need to put you on a plan to save, right? If there are items on the credit report that we need to fix or repair, we want to take a look at that up front from the get-go before we could say, okay, 6 months down the line you can be ready to purchase, right? So you don't decide, you know what, tomorrow I want to buy a house and
unless you have that type of money. And the average person really doesn't have that type of money. So when we started this, when we spoke over the weekend, we were saying that look at this as a challenge. You have diet challenge, smoothie challenge, and all these challenges. What if we come together and we do a home ownership challenge, right? Luckily the year just started. We're only in the second, now going into the third month of the year.
It's flying, right?
Right, I know, right? So someone, if they start now and be like, you know what Yanni and Rishi is saying, I can start now, and by the end of 2020, I could now be calling a realtor to start this process. But it requires sacrifice.
Let's
talk about that.
It does require sacrifice. So And I think we mentioned Bonnie in your belly, right?
Right, in Trinidad. By the way, guys, I'm getting
Oh.
we gotta mention he's Trini like
Oh,
me.
to the bone, Trini to the
There we
bone.
go. Right. He's Trini like me. But in Trinidad we
Yeah.
call it ban in your
Ban in
belly.
belly.
We say it with Trini accent. But what
Yeah.
it is basically sacrifice.
Mhm.
Because and why we're doing this time of the year right now is because tax season is about to start.
Yeah.
Right? And most of you, if you're not self-employed, you get that tax return. The question is, what are you doing with your tax return? What if this year, just for this year, you hold up on your tax return and then use it towards
And decide to
down payments. Right.
towards a down payment for a house and better your circumstances.
Right, exactly. Now you mentioned, and please explain this, how there's a comparison with buying your first car for those people that are still afraid of buying a house, your first car and your first home.
So when I meet with my clients, right, and as a first-time home buyer, yes, you have a lot of anxiety, you have a lot of fear. It's something new, right? Mm-hmm. So I asked them, I said, do you own a car? Mm-hmm. Do you remember the first time you bought the first car you bought, the first time you went shopping for that first car? How anxious you were, how fearful you were of the process. You scrutinized everything as far as the car was concerned, right? And you also saved up for the down payment if you had to put a down payment down on the house.
Most people did.
Yeah, on the car, right? So you figure many years ago you bought a car and you had the fear and you had the anxiety that went with that. And now look at you 5-10 years later, you could go shopping for a car with your eyes closed, right?
Exactly. Because you've been through it.
Because you've been through it. So same thing with buying a house, right? You see these shows and you know something, it is true, the fear of the unknown. Right. But you see these shows where people are flipping houses, they're buying 2-3 houses at a time, they're flipping it and then they're on to the next one on HGTV and all those shows, right? It's because they know the process. They know what goes into buying a house, right? All the steps that it takes.
The work that's put in.
Exactly, the work that is put into buying the house. So think of it as buying your first car, but that's a little bit higher price tag.
Right.
But there are steps to it so that you will be successful throughout the process, and it's not something to be fearful of.
It's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because fear cripples you.
Fear does cripple you.
I can't tell you how many, and my clients are the ones who inspire this. I can't tell you how many clients, they have good jobs, they work for good money, but they're like, oh my God, because they hear all these bad, you understand? Yep. So, in Trinidad we call it drinking bush tea for somebody people, meaning you're living on what's happened to somebody thinking it's going to happen to you. Yep. If you don't dive into the process, you will know. Now, why home ownership is important, again, another thing I want you to explain is when you're renting, what are you doing?
Well, at the end of the day, you're paying a mortgage, right?
Right. When you're a renter, you're paying someone else's mortgage, right? You're contributing to someone else's wealth, or gaining wealth, right? So you have to decide within yourself whether you want to continue being a renter and paying your landlord's mortgage, or you want to step out and you have the ability to pay your own mortgage and build your own equity in your property. Okay, good. Now this is just a teaser for you guys. We have a lot to talk about. This is only part 1. I'm going to call it, with your permission, because you're a huge part of this, the Homeowners Challenge for 2020.
Oh, yes.
Right, there we go. And one of the things we're going to talk about when we come back for part 2 and beyond is, this is just an introduction, like we said. The self-employed person can buy out, because I'm self-employed, right? Another thing we have to touch base on, so you guys get ready for the future, credit. That is a huge problem for a lot of Americans, because again, you guys will hear me using a lot of Trinidad accent. We hang and we hat further than it could reach. You're not acting your wage. And I'm not trying to finance shame anyone, but if you want to make the sacrifice, then make the sacrifice. You understand? Cut out on your spending and all of that. So credit is a huge factor. One of the things he's going to explain in the next video is the difference. A lot of you use Credit Karma, and it's stressing you out because it's not what?
It is not an accurate score. All right, it's not a score that a lender would use when determining if you're eligible to buy a house or not. Right.
So someone like you is going to run a real credit check and explain. Right.
So we look at FICO.
FICO. Yep. Okay. And just so you guys know, all his information, before we even start the next series of videos, all his information is going to go into his contacts. For anyone, because this is not just for Jersey, this is the law of the land. Even though you don't work in other states, this is across the board. What advice would you give someone who is living in Cali, or Virginia, whatever, who is listening to this video? What advice would you give them to look for to talk to their lender or their realtor?
Well, they could always reach out to me, right? So
Right.
even though I'm licensed in the state of New Jersey, my lending license is held in the state of New Jersey. The company I work for, we are licensed throughout the United States.
Oh, so it's nationwide.
We are
Right.
nationwide. So
Okay.
you can definitely touch base with me,
Okay.
and I'll be more than happy to go through from step A to Z, and get you pre-approved, even though you're out in Cali, Georgia, or wherever you may be, and you'll be able to work with your realtor
Okay.
from that.
Okay. Now, my last question is this, because again, we're coming back to the fear factor. There is somebody who's watching this video thinking this is far-fetched. We're doing these videos to let people know this is really attainable. The person who is working for the average income, who's
Okay.
not bringing the big bucks.
Okay. Which is the
average
majority,
American,
which is the majority of Americans.
Right, there you go. Would they be able to purchase a house, their first time home?
Okay, so what I look at as a lender, right? I look at your debt to income ratio.
Right.
All right, so when I pull your credit, I'm looking to see how much debt you have.
Right.
All right, based on how much debt you have and your income, those are the two main determining factors whether or not you'll be able to purchase a house.
Okay.
Right, so if you have low debt, and even though your income is the medium income that we have in the United States, like let's say 45 to 55,000, right? With a low debt ratio, more than likely, yes, you will be able to buy a house.
Meaning
right?
not a lot of bills. We're not talking about rent and stuff, like not
Right.
a lot of credit card bills, because that's what builds up on debt.
Correct.
Like you have 3-4 cars.
Correct.
Right.
three or four Benzes.
Benzes,
Exactly,
right? Benzes.
Right. So something, you touch on something just now there, Yanni. Your rent, the money that you're paying towards rent,
Yeah.
I don't count that as a debt, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we gotta live somewhere.
Right, so you have to live somewhere, but you figure you're going to be moving out of that apartment into a house, right?
Okay.
So yeah, we don't count that.
I kind of learned that because I know some places they do count that as a debt.
Yeah.
Right.
For a lender, we don't count that as a debt.
Okay.
So yes, the cars, the credit cards.
Stop with the red ladies.
Yep.
And I'm not shaming anyone, but this is really a challenge for a lot of people. Stop with the red bottoms and the Louis Vuitton and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Stop. Just give it a break for a while and make that sacrifice. If you could sacrifice to buy those things, the concerts, the trips, and all that stuff, you can save all that money and you can attain your first time home. Now, the next time we come back, we're going to talk about, in the next series, we're going to talk about there's different types of houses. Right, there is the single family home, which most people like, but I'm more for the, me.
Yeah.
I'm for the 3-family home where you can
rental income,
get
right?
rental income, exactly. So your tenants, if it's a good area and the rent is decent enough, your tenants could actually be paying your mortgage.
Yep, or assisting you pay.
There we go. And another thing he's going to touch base on is the fixer-uppers. Like you mentioned, what is it? HD something TV?
Yeah, HGTV.
Right.
You see all these people.
We don't just watch it there. This could happen in real life.
And I make it happen for people.
Right. And you're great with fixer-upper houses.
Yes, I am.
And right. So that a fixer-upper, who don't know, that's a house around the corner that looked like that was once a crackhead house and it boarded up. Don't
discredit.
Yeah, yeah. Those houses could turn into amazing gems. All right. So we have a lot to talk about in the next series. He's going to bring a couple of his associates, bring a realtor. There's so much. Yes, I like to use this word, a plethora of information when it comes to real estate investment. So if you guys like this video, please leave comments, positive comments only. All right. All his information is going to go down. Don't contact me asking me questions about home ownership. I do here. That's his. We stay late, right?
Feel free to give me a call.
Right, and not because you don't have lots. This is not about that. Call him. Email address, all that stuff. He's also on Facebook. Jimmy and I are trying to get him on YouTube. He has Facebook videos where it's what we touched on is like this compared to what he touches on his Facebook page. I'm going to add the link, go over to his Facebook page, hit him up. In fact, say, hey, Yanni sent me. All right. Yeah. Ask questions. Listen, guys, Challenge yourself. We do all these challenges, the cold water challenge and this challenge and that challenge. And sometimes it's just foolishness. But why can't we challenge ourselves for something real? To own a house, because we need to pass it on to the next generation. And like he said, you're paying, a lot of you are paying rents, but you're paying somebody else's mortgage. In home ownership is investment. A client said it best. She said, we only have the same amount of, there's no more land on this planet. So buying into property is one of the best things you can do for yourself or your family. Anything you want to add before we close?
Don't be fearful. All right.
Yes.
The longest journey starts with the first step.
Yeah.
I always like that quote, right?
I like that.
So if this is something that you're looking to do, you've thought about it in the past or anything like that, feel free to give me a call. No question is a dumb question.
Yeah.
All right. And I'll be more than happy to guide you through the steps towards homeownership.
Right. I want to add one more thing. When you're ready for this journey, I like how we say that, your first step is not to speak or think words like, oh my God, this will be a stressful process. I would admit it's challenging. It's a whole two different words. Because if you speak stress in homeownership, that's exactly what you're going to get. It's a challenge. You have to put in work. That's like how you had to put in work to buy that first car. You can just walk into a dealership. Oh, I want that key over there. Like, here's the keys. That's not how that works. Or I want that job. And there's everything that you want, you have to work towards. All right. So if you're ready for this challenge and based on what's, and he's giving us information for free. Based on what he is telling you, let's work towards it. Okay. Thank you guys. Don't forget to leave your positive comment, share, and thanks, guys. Bye.
Have a good day.